All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I think we're about ready to get started. We gave people some time to get in. And if we do end up cutting out, or if we find we have some technical issues, please let me know in chat. And I will find a way to get that sorted. Let me just quickly... That's not some of the music that I had in the playlist. Let's see. Let's just replay this this playlist over. All right. So here's what we're going to be doing. Well, wow, Laurens. Thank you so much for the donation. I haven't even gotten to explaining what we will be doing with donations, but I do feel that this might be a really good time to actually get into the donations. But first, let me get the format out of the way first. So, I've been wanting to do this for a while, which is just doing a radio-inspired chiptune / Demoscene show, where I just force my musical taste on other people, which is something I enjoy doing very much in my day-to-day life. And so, you know, with having like 2-3 streams under my belt, only seemed like a fitting thing to do during a live stream. We're gonna try and keep it nice and varied. We have a couple of nice genres, but pretty much everything is going to be from Chiptune and Demoscene. If we ever end up doing this again, it will probably be with some more general electronica, maybe even some indie music. I would love to like showcase music from independent artists in general. So we'll see how that goes. I wanted to get like some good scenes going for people to see the album art and to, you know, get some information on the artist. But unfortunately, I just didn't have enough time. I severely underestimated the time that was going in that. So we'll have to do without that for now. So, donations. Let's just get into that. All right, Verano. Be safe. It's best not to look at the stream while on the bicycle. All right, donations. So, there will be a donation link in the screen. And I just want to tell you how we're going to be handling donations, because this is pretty important to me. We will be sharing the revenue with the artists. I will be giving them 75% of the total revenue made during the stream. And if anyone else is looking at this in an archive, then we will be... please put a hashtag radio show of some kind in the comments of your donation. Because that way I know that you will be donating towards this. And then we can... Let's see. That's interesting. I actually don't quite know how to handle this little bot right here. Well, what is this? The Braggart. Thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it so much. So. Yeah, don't click it, guys. I'm trying to actually see what I can do here. Ah, there we go. So we want to get focus right out of here. He's already out of here. Okay. I'm so new to Twitch streaming that I don't even know how to get rid of that message. But yeah, don't click it. That link is sus as fuck. So, that's what we're going to be doing with the donations. 75% will be going towards artists. I will be taking a cut of 25%. And if people have any opinions on that, there's a suggestion box below. You can always email me. My email is on my... let's see. Just gonna do this. Gonna do that. Just to clean this up. There we go. Get rid of that suspicious link. Yeah. So if you are looking at this from the archive, be sure to put like a hashtag radio show or some kind in the description of your donation, and I will be sure to get your money towards the artists. So with that out of the way, I think we are pretty much ready to dive into the first song. Let me just fade out this little track right here, and then we are good to go. Right, just quickly check the audio levels here. Yes, yes, yes. All right. So, our first act of the evening is a Demoscener from Poland. He has made music for a wide range of systems, including the Sega Genesis, Game Boy, and Super Nintendo. The track that we'll be playing today was produced on an Amiga 1200. It has 4 audio channels, and it was produced to be submitted to the music competition, the track music competition at Revision 2019, and actually placed 3rd. So for those who don't know what the Demoscene is, it's a multi-day festival where a bunch of extreme nerds come together and make stuff. Music, shaders, lethal alcoholic beverages. It's a lot of fun, and I think I can safely say that we're all very, very ready to be able to have a drink and dance with our fellow sceners in person again. I'm always happy to see this guy's name pop up in the suggestion slides, and I hope you'll enjoy his music as much as I do. So here is Aceman with Sugar Rush. And that was Aceman with Sugar Rush. Glad to see you guys like this tune as much as I do. It's always very exciting to see his name pop up in the competition slides. Like, I'm not kidding. I was originally introduced to him through his track called Mutant. What was it called? Mutant something something. Like the thing that falls out of a tree. Whatever. Anyway. Yeah. Choo Choo. So sorry. I wanted to get that Cat Jam emote ready, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Also, I will be pasting the link to the Twitch in the YouTube description so that people can come over in case we do continue to have technical difficulties. Anyway. Up next, I'm not quite sure actually how I stumbled onto this particular artist. Gigandect is a chiptune musician from Japan. They have a very colorful online presence. Let's say, be sure to check out their Twitter bio when you get the chance. The project that this track is a part of has a lot of fuck written all over it, which is always something that makes me smile. And here's the description for their project. Which is called Don't. I deny everything. I deny something every month for the next 2 months. Check out the website. Definitely check out their SoundCloud. Here's Gigandect's refusal to talk, and it's called Don't Talk About It. Yes, yes, yes. See, I know you, chat. I know what you like. That was Gigandect with Don't Talk About It. Man, such a hard hitter. All on Game Boy, by the way. I should probably make a point of actually naming the consoles as well. But yeah, all Game Boy. Fucking dope. Defense mechanism, Gigandect rules. Wow, that triplet field riser. Exactly, the brackets. It's really, really fucking good. Aceman says heavy. Choo-choo says banger. Yeah. And of course, let us not forget the previous track that we had, Aceman with Sugar Rush, all on a Amiga 1200. So I want to get a little chat in. Chat, just a little. Let's switch over the scene. Because, chat, we need to talk about something that is truly a little bit of a shame when I'm putting the show together. Because I also organize a show in the Netherlands. A chiptune show. It's called Eindbaas. And one of the things that I tend to talk about a lot with friends of mine is that we know a lot of great musicians, but most of these people are hobby musicians, right? They don't do this for a living. And one of the great ways that we used to find out about them was that we were all like sharing the same platform and that we were all chatting on forums and whatnot. But lately, everyone in chiptune especially has really been scattered all over the place. There's different Discord groups, there's different Facebook groups. It's just really, really hard to come across new artists every once in a while. And one of the reasons that it's so hard is that people don't really tend to put a lot of effort in making themselves discoverable. Now, if you're an artist, you know, I'm really curious to hear your music. But if you're gonna make me jump through hoops in having to Scooby-Doo that shit in Google, you know, I might not even get to hear your music at all. So I do want to make a point to, if we have any artists in the chat today, in the viewer base, that if you make music, even for a hobby, you know, I don't want to miss out on the opportunity of hearing it. So try and make it so that you connect your platforms. If you have a Twitter, put your Bandcamp there, put your SoundCloud there, or wherever you're hosting your music. Put your Bandcamp on your SoundCloud so people can actually donate to you. Or put your Coffee page on there, you know. Make it easy for people to click around, because they might just want to contribute and you might be missing out on that support, you know. And that's just something that I really, really wanted to discuss. Because it's a shame, you know, that something as simple as a barrier like that can be easily overcome keeps people from discovering new music. So with that out of the way, I want to be going back to this scene. And let's stop listening to my jibber jabber and actually get back into the music. Yes. Let's fade this out. Yeah, we can just go like this. Yeah. So this next artist, I remember hanging out with Seror from Xais a few years ago. And he played me a song called Aspartame Remix. And it was one of those tracks that made me go, what the fuck is that? I want that. And the track was produced by a Demoscener called Muff. At least that's the Dutch pronunciation of it. He's a French guy, so it's probably pronounced a little differently. We won't be playing Aspartame today, but be sure to check out the massive release that track is part of on Bandcamp. Instead, we will be playing one of his other tracks, the title of which translates to noodles, to those who care. So here's my attempt at some French. Here is Muff with Nouilles. Yes, yes. Yeah, Aceman on point. He actually remixed this into a newer release. I think it's newer, called Beyond the Poet. It's on the release that I posted in the chat. So be sure to check that out if you have the opportunity. All right, moving on to some more Demoscene. First, I seem to have lost my notes. I'm still very much playing with the format, by the way, guys. So if you would like less talking, more music, or more talking and or whatnot, we can definitely try and make that happen. There is a suggestion box. If you're watching on Twitch, go to my Twitch profile, RoccoW911. And there's a suggestion box there for people to suggest things. Go figure. Anyway, next up we have another Demoscener. This one hailing from Sweden. His name is Teetow, and I was originally introduced to his music through a really short track called Arranging Matches. A funky soundtrack for a demo of the same name released back in 2008. His music has been part of several Scene Set compilation albums, and I hope to have a chance to tell him how much I enjoy his work at a future demo party. According to what I read on his Demozoo profile, he doesn't seem to be partaking in many competitions these days, but he is still very much active and making music. So I'm going to fade this out, and here is Teetow with Fastest Cube. Yes, yes, yes. That was Teetow with the Fastest Cube, which was just an MP3. You know, we don't always have to play chip music around here. You know, sometimes you need a little breaky break from the loop, from the bloop, the bloop. Anyway, so let's move on here to our next artist. Thank you so much to everyone who turned up. I really appreciate all of you taking the time to check out the stream today, and I hope you're having a good time. Really nice to see people so engaged in chat. Someone asked a really interesting question. Let me just check. Who was it? The Braggart asked, what are good current chip artist platforms y'all recommend? And I just want to make a big deal out of Battle of the Bits, which is actually going to be making a return later today. Actually, I completely think I skipped one tune. Yeah, I actually left one of the tracks out of the track list. Thank God that we were actually discussing the Battle of the Bits. Let's give me a second, guys. I actually forgot to download the MP3. Man, how am I just noticing this now? SoundCloud, please don't spoil this for me. Yes, I'm a professional, everyone. No, 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 no. No, you don't. No, you don't. Oh, right. I see where you are. Bear with me, chat. I could have sworn I had already downloaded it. Is it not in here? Crazy. I'm actually having to rip this song. DL going, paste link, download that track. Okie dokie. Should have it ready now. Whoopsie. Oh, did my track actually stop as well? This is a professional production, everyone. Honest. Oh, let's get this track in here. Won't be long now, guys. I got it. All right. Good. Thank you for your patience. Just alrighty. Our next artist is an active member, actually, on Battle of the Bits, which deserves its own introduction. But in short, Battle of the Bits is a battleground for chiptune and demoscene musicians, as well as visual artists, to duke it out in so-called battles. Ominous Pigeon Master, our next artist, has produced close to 1,000 entries and is keeping productive as we speak. The track that we'll be playing from him is a good old funky Sega-inspired FM track. FM, of course, standing for funky and magnificent. Here is Ominous Pigeon Master with Braggart Bohemian Zone. not just love those FM bass lines? Crazy. That was Braggart Bohemian Zone by Ominous... Oh my god. Ominous Pigeon Master. Yeah, that track was absolutely crazy. Fucking love that sound, man. It's worth noting, by the way, that that track was not actually produced on the Sega Genesis, but, you know, those iconic sounds are good enough, right? All right. Let's get a little tune going. How is everyone enjoying the stream so far, chat? Thank you so much for coming by and hanging out. This is a new viewer record for me. I'm hoping to do something like this again. Like I said, I was trying to mess around a little bit with getting some now playing scenes up, and I was not getting a good feel for the scale, and it just took so much time, and eventually it didn't end up working. So excuse the minimal production on this. I'm hoping to do a little bit better next time. But I appreciate you guys listening. Appreciate you all stopping by, taking time out of your day to drop by. So let's just move on to the next artist, shall we? The next artist you're probably familiar with if you're part of the European chiptune scene. There's a good chance that you've seen him perform. His name is HarleyLikesMusic, and he's producing chiptune music from Sheffield in the UK. Also, my music just stopped. I thought I had set to loop, but no. He did a bunch of work on the Korg DS originally when I met him. It was at a open stage pre-party at a Dutch chiptune show where I met him, and he, needless to say, he rocked the house. I mean, Harley is always a pleasure to see play live. Since then, he switched out his DS for a pair of Game Boys and continues to produce absolutely bonkers music, particularly with very clever use of sample playback features on LSDJ. And the next track is taken from his latest release, Licensed and Bonded, released over on Pterodactyl Squad. Now, if you're looking for the next big labels in chiptune to sort of get releases, Pterodactyl Squad has been absolutely killing it with putting out music. But here's HarleyLikesMusic with Get 'Em.
Up the road, Amanda, 238 Sluggish. 238 slugs in this thing. Good choice. Get it. Get it.
Holy shit.
Good choice.
And that was Harley with Get 'Em. That track is so fucking sick. I mean, if you want to get that Sheffield electronica feel, there's no one that does it better than Harley. I mean, I guess that the donk music influences has really played a number on him. Really nice to I think he got him. I think you're right, Defense Mech. Absolutely got him. How's everyone doing today? So I think we're gonna take it up for a vote, just to see on what we're gonna do next. I have a couple of more tracks, 3 in total. But I planned the format to be just chatting, just for a little while, before we get into the next track, for like 5 minutes or so maybe. So if anyone's up for just chatting, type 1 in the chat. If you're like, fuck that, let's play some more music, then type 2 in the chat. Andro Visuals, hey man, thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you watching. Yeah, we're just taking a vote on if people wanted more music. yeah. So I forget, actually. Was option 1 was just chatting, right? Yeah, I think so. Awesome. Good to hear that everyone is still enjoying themselves. And really flattering as well. Like, it's been really weird, right? I've been doing... this is my, I think, 3rd stream, not including the stream that I did with Defense Mechanism yesterday. If you want to see a couple of nerds nerding out over some music that... is made on the Game Boy and some software that is being worked on still after all these years, then definitely check out Defense Mechanism's channel. Yes, Andrew, you are very late. The stream has been going for an hour or so, but no worries. We still have at least 3 tracks to go, and after that, you know, we can do whatever. I mean, we could maybe dive into making some chip music ourselves. We could just hang around and chat. Maybe I should have said this way earlier, but if there are any chip musicians in chat that want to share some work in progress, then by all means send it my way. The Discord set 1630. Man, I fucked that up big time. Sorry, man. Which means you came. Wow, you came right on time, and I messed that up. Oh well. Yeah, so that was probably because I am still working on a schedule that is sort of switching between 16:30 and 15:30. Yeah, you're on time, Andro. This is solely on me. But it's that's pretty much the reason probably I got that mistaken. Is I got out of work like an hour before the stream started, and then got right on it. I'm actually thinking of starting the stream an hour or maybe even 1.5 hours later, because I've been getting a lot of people that say, yeah, I'm still at work, have to get back from work to actually tune into the stream. You know, some people decide to lurk while they're on the bike with having the phone in their pocket, or in the train maybe. But I'm thinking of maybe moving the schedule later. Especially with most of the people that are watching are European viewers, right? So it would make sense to accommodate that a little bit better. Maybe start streaming around dinner time when people actually arrive in the kitchen, you know, making some din-dins for themselves. Yeah. I think I'm gonna start doing that from next week on. See how that goes. Also, I appreciate everyone being so active in the chat. If you want to support any of the artists, there will be an archive up from all the tracks that have been played, and I'll be sure to include the link to get to where these people are selling their music or where they have options to donate to them directly. Ominous Pigeon is one, I think the singular artist that actually doesn't have a way of donating to him directly. So if he's watching, get on that. You know, we need to give us your money. We need to give you our money. Jeez. Thanks for the links. I realized I wasn't following a few of them on SoundCloud. Yeah, well, it's a like a gotta catch them all, right? Defense mechanism. There's always like Gigandect was the same for me. Like there's still a couple of chiptune artists that just pop up on SoundCloud, and I'm like, how did I miss these? You know, they're still really, really good artists that have been in the scene for years, and I have no idea that they've been making music. But yeah, that's why I like going to Battle of the Bits as well, because people just post their music there. It's pretty easy to browse. People that actually contribute to like the majors. It's like a nice little. It takes me back to the good old days of 8-Bit Collective. Now, for those who don't know, most of the people I think that are involved chiptune today are people that started off on a website called 8bitcollective.org. And it was a very bare bones website, but it was basically crate digging, but in a digital way, right? You just had one big feed that showed all of the submissions from the different artists, and you would just go through them, even opening them in new tabs on your browser. It was a chore to work with, but it was so good because it was the best resource to get chip music. Now, chipmusic.org was also a thing, but I personally remember 8-Bit Collective getting my preference because eventually someone actually made a JavaScript multiplayer that just cached all the tracks, and you can browse through them. And one of the great things about a website like that, Micromusic is a similar website that has a similar sort of vibe to it, is you go through a lot of shit, right? You hear a lot of shit music, but sometimes you get that gem. And there's always, like, if you don't feel like looking through all that shit, there's like a top 3 of most liked tunes of that week. It was a really simple site, but it did something really, really important, and that was just giving people one place to upload their music, and you were pretty much guaranteed to be heard. I miss those days, man. Obviously, it had its flaws. You know, with any community, you're gonna have people that are gonna act nasty. You get a bias towards certain artists. There was also a discussion on the whole fake bit thing. You know, if you're emulating old sound chips, is it really chiptune? And personally, I never cared for that conversation. You know, like, it's music. I'd say it has a place in chiptune. But, you know, people have strong opinions on that. I don't blame them entirely. You know, if something like chiptune, where the whole aesthetic comes from making music on limited hardware, it's just, I can imagine why people get very defensive about it. Andro Visuals, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Don't get me started on this long. Yeah, I know, right? Defense mechanism. Like, people that I've been in chiptune for like 12 years now. And obviously, like any community has this, right? Like, sadly, I've heard of a couple of people that have quit the chiptune scene because they just felt the scene was too toxic. And if you're one of the people that holds that opinion, I mean, you might be looking in the wrong places. And not to say that there isn't a toxic element to the community, but there's a toxic element to any community, right? Anyway, we won't dawn on this too much longer, but fair to say that if you quit chiptune because you felt that there wasn't a place for you. There is. You just gotta find it. And it's difficult now because everyone is really, really spread out. So that's why it's nice to see some suggestions from people in chat, you know? Because we're all looking for a place to just hang out, submit our music, get our music heard, get some feedback to make our music better, you know? And generally support people that do what we love. So, yeah, that's my little rant. Or my little brain fart, I should say. I think it's time for some more music, don't you think? All right. Oh, I'm really excited for our next artist. So, there's a big chance that there's some bias involved in picking the next duo for the show. However, I stand by the fact that you cannot deny the following. Their melodies are insanely catchy, and their performances, of which they have dozens, are very entertaining. I'm talking about Men of Mega, a punk-inspired duo making Game Boy music in the Netherlands. Their latest release, Sorry, is one big love letter to the chiptune scene, and I had the pleasure of being allowed to help out through mixing and mastering. So that's where my bias comes from, I guess. They are two fantastic friends, and in my opinion, one of the most underrated acts in chiptune. Here is Men of Mega with Deathrattle. Yes. You've never heard of them? Well, glad to be spreading the word to someone. Love the rhythm variations. Yeah, absolutely. I had a lot of fun mixing and mastering this production. Please let me know if you have any like feedback on the mix and mastering, because it was actually one of the first times that I did it for like friends, and I wasn't very experienced, you know, so I was very nervous because obviously these people are putting something out that they put their heart and soul into, you know. So messing that up with mixing and mastering, it was something that I was very frightened of, but I think it was a very good learning experience, and I'm glad the way it came out. But always ready to take feedback. All right, so we have 2 acts remaining for the show tonight, and we can do whatever. Next up, we have another Swede. Meganeko, he is called, and he's found a lot of popularity both in and outside the chiptune scene. I'd say he's actually outgrown this little niche, but thankfully we can still find some nice bleeps and bloops sprinkled throughout his tracks. He has recently actually quit his day job to make music full-time, which is fantastic news, and if there's anyone that deserves it, it's this guy. So, taken from his self-release, Nascence. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but here is Meganeko with I.O. When those chords hit in the middle, those like really, really jazzy chords, they get me every time, man. Get me so excited. Ah, fantastic. All right. So we're actually on the last track of the day already. We're closing out with a banger. I mean, this one is about to get really, really crazy, guys. To anyone that might be interested, there is a challenge that happens, I think, every 2 years or so. And it's called Weekly Beats, a website created by Trash80 to challenge musicians and producers to create one piece of music each week of the year. And through that project, I discovered a few interesting artists, one of them being .exe. He's a chiptune musician from Canada, and his music reminds me a lot of artists I knew back in the days of 8-Bit Galactic, like Seismic Toss and Shitbird. And +1 to anyone in chat that even knows who those people are, because I don't think they've made music in years. Like, Seismic Toss is early 2010 shit. Like, if you manage to find, it's hard to find, but if you manage to find it, it's really, really good. Anyway, this song is part of a release called Jams.exe, which is just a great name for an album. Check him out if you're in for some very noisy and very experimental, and I do mean very experimental, chip music. I'm very happy to introduce .exe with JSX. Good lord. Man, this style of chiptune, you know, it's so interesting because it's a style that's rarely executed as well as it's done here. Let me just put on some background music while we recuperate from that. It's such a unique style, right? I mean, if we're talking Game Boy music, and by the way, .exe is in chat. So was most of that track just 2 channels, just the wave channel as well as noise? I'm really curious to hear because that sounded absolutely crazy. But it's really interesting, right? Because there's a lot of people that make Game Boy music, and they mostly do like, the stuff that you're hearing in the background, right? Like this type of like 128 BPM, just dancey type shit, you know? So hearing the stuff that .exe does is just so refreshing, and it's a style that you hear so rarely as well, because it's so like crazy to program. Thank you so much for joining the show, .exe. Really great to have you. So I think what we'll do is we'll take a little bit of a break, because I need to go to the bathroom for a little bit. Need to grab me some water, and just generally recuperate for a little bit. No problem, .exe. I really appreciate. I'm hoping to do more of these, and I hope people get some nice recommendation for the artists that they like. The artists, support the artists. You know, it's just a lot of fun, and I have a whole list of people that I would love to, you know, like approach. Like, hey, can I make your music part of the show? And I think it would be fun. I couldn't do it weekly, though. I was already surprised by how much preparation went into this. And I still didn't get to do most of the things that I actually wanted to do. So I would have gotten some really nice now playing screens and whatnot. Maybe done a bit of a better job preparing to post links and artist info in chat. But, you know, it's always just getting some practice in for the real deal, I guess. Anyway, thank you so much to everyone that's been sticking around for nearly 1.5 hours now. This is probably the highest average viewer rate I've ever gotten. And I really appreciate it. I appreciate people taking the time out of their day to come and watch. So what we'll do is we'll take a little bit of a break, get some water, go to the bathroom, get some beer. I don't care. Do whatever. I'm not your dad. Anyway, I'll play some music in the background, and I'll catch you guys in, say, 6 minutes. All right, be right back.
seems like my thrusters are completely burnt out. I'm gonna need a bit more time up here for repairs and to regenerate the nano batteries. In the meantime, meantime, send out my love and greetings to everyone at Evoke 2019. Over and out.
I miss Fiat Chick? Well, we went through I think 9 chiptune tracks in total, and yeah, it was really varied. If you get a chance, I would recommend checking the archive channel. But we're pretty much going into the final stages of the stream. I've had the stream set for I think 2 hours. But I will say that this is the end of the radio portion of the show. So if that was all that you came here for, thank you very much for listening. And probably we might do a little just chatting. I'm thinking of maybe pulling up the Game Boy just to show some of the things that Defense Mechanism and I geeked out over during last night's stream, which happened over on his channel. For anyone interested, there will be a VOD and archive up on this show. It'll be up on Twitch probably, and it will also be up on YouTube. Now, YouTube has been an iffy subject for the entirety of the stream, because pretty much the entire time YouTube was telling me, look, your streaming speed, it's not up to par. You know, I got a yellow icon. It said bad stream was bad. So for all I know, it's going to be a very stuttery mess, and if so, I will try to grab the bot from Twitch and upload it to YouTube. Silver Prime, when's the next stream? Depends. If you're talking about another Chiptune and Demoscene showcase, probably not for another 2 weeks at the minimum. However, and this is also the last week of the day that I'll be streaming. However, I will probably be streaming on either Monday or Tuesday next week. And we'll probably play with a different schedule to start the stream a little bit later, because I've been getting a lot of people that tell me, look, I've been wanting to check into the stream, but I'm coming out of work. Some people have to travel quite a big distance. So instead of starting the stream at 17:30, just like 5:30, we'll probably do an hour later, just to give people an opportunity to get home. I think that might be a little bit better. If some people in chat have suggestions on what time they would prefer, and I would prefer if you posted it in Central Europe time. And probably what we'll be doing on the Monday is just making music in Ableton. I haven't thought of a theme. Last Monday we did sample-based production. So I've been listening to a lot of Fatboy Slim, and I just really wanted to get like a similar funky style, just working with samples. And I actually am really happy the way that stream turned out. If anyone is interested in watching an archive, my computer is pretty fried currently. It's having a lot of trouble with OBS, but I'm gonna try and get a link posted on here. Sampler device or go home. I mean, the simpler count, Andro. By the way, to anyone in chat that isn't familiar with Andro, Andro is actually a person that taught me a lot during demo parties. And I wouldn't have been as able or confident in Ableton Productions if it weren't for Andro. So I'm really thankful to him. But fuck him on the sampler device issue. I use Zipper whenever I want, bitch. But yeah. So Fatboy Slim stream. I just got it here. Let me pull it up. Post the link in chat. There we go. And that was the first stream probably that I was actually really happy with the result of music production, because it really took a lot of getting used to. Like, I used to record myself a lot just talking and trying to sort of narrate how a track comes together. But when doing it live, you have the added element of having a live chat that you want to interact with, and I do want to interact with chat. It will be interesting to maybe try a stream where we keep the interaction with chat to a minimum. But, you know, seeing as I'm really wanting to grow this stream for a little bit, I want to try and keep the actual interaction as high as possible. Right, I have some last-minute notes on the donations. Like, if you're watching this from the archives, chances are you're probably not going to even get to this part. But if you do, we will be taking donations for this show for the next 2 weeks. And the donations will be shared across artists. They will be, I think 75% will be spread across, I think, 9 artists, potentially 10. So yeah, of course, you can go to the pages of the artists and donate to them directly, which I highly encourage. I have posted links as much as I can in chat. However, there will be a description up on YouTube where I will be sure to link all the people to the individual tracks, as well as platforms where you can donate to the artists. And you know, if you want to... Most of these people are just doing this for fun. And if you want to give them a little boost, you know, sure, give them a few bucks. Let's see, what else do we have? I'm currently planning on doing another one of these, as I've already mentioned, and I'm really looking for feedback, not just on the show, but I think right now on the show in particular. Like, to anyone in chat, how did you find the format of the show for those who were around? Was it like too much talking? Would you think more talking would be able? Do you... yeah, any suggestions, really? I have a suggestion box that I haven't tried out myself, but it's on my Twitch profile. And I would love to hear you guys' thoughts, because I want to take this thing seriously, because I really enjoy showing music to people that might be unfamiliar with certain artists. And I do feel that a lot of these people deserve a lot more credit than they receive. So, yeah, if you guys have any notes... leave them in the comments, post them in chat, leave them in the suggestion box. I'd love to hear it. Yeah, yeah, I guess what we could do for the last 20 minutes or so is we could do some Game Boy stuff, for example. Just open LSDJ up and go over some of the stuff that Defense Mechanism taught me and have me quote it very, very badly because I was overwhelmed with information because of last night's stream. It's also like maybe you would even want to have more music for the show as well, because I was like, you know, if I'm going to if I'm going to combine the show with talking, 30 minutes is probably plentiful. But if I'm having to cut down on the talking for a bit, then it's probably best to get a little bit more music in there. And maybe we could do it a lot simpler, you know? Maybe we could just have a stream where there's no talking at all. Just an introduction and just go off, you know? But I genuinely don't know. It's really hard putting something like that together. And the hardest thing about it is that you want to make it interesting for people, but you have to get feedback. So yeah, I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts when you get the chance. Let me just open BGB up. Actually, connect my controller as well. And before we actually get into that, I just want to share something with you that Defense Mechanism shared with me yesterday. That is an emulator, a Game Boy emulator, that runs in the browser. It's called Telemelt. And I'll post a link in chat. And basically what it allowed us to do is I went on stream with Defense Mechanism and we tried to mix some music together. It ended up mostly being Defense Mechanism sharing some like really, really technical stuff of LSDJ with me. And it was really, really interesting, really insightful because I've not updated my LSDJ on my cartridges for a really, really long time. It supports many other retro consoles as well. That's really great to hear. Gotta go to the dentist. This was rad. We'll be back. Looking forward to the next next chip radio. I thought the format was cool. Thank you so much, Braggart. Good luck at the dentist. Hope you don't get any new cavities discovered. And thank you so much for tuning in. So yeah, Telemelt, really, really interesting thing. It's a little buggy, you know, like it's still in beta. So we did run into a little bit of like weird audio glitches, and you're gonna notice that really quickly when you're working with a piece of audio software like LSDJ, right? Like we've been spending so much time with this software that by now we know how it's supposed to sound on the real Game Boy. So if we're running it in an emulator that's not able to emulate it well, we notice. Just get BGB open and see if we can actually get LSDJ on the screen, because I remember having it set up and I'm not sure if we can just pull the scene back up again. Actually, let me take the opportunity to get one of the more most recent stable version of LSDJ, because after what we discussed last night, it's definitely worth looking into, because one of the most impressive features is actually not in the most recent version that I downloaded. So let me just grab the link to try and get to my LSDJ full versions. Let's see. Stable. There we go. Get that in the directory. So LSDJ 92L Defense Mechanism. Is that the actual recent version that's recommended? Oh boy, my computer having some issues. I think it is. Whoop. Whoa. Some delayed inputs there. There we go. Unzip this. BGB. Start it up. Let me just slide the music on down. I can remember where I actually had it. There we go. Slide that down. Now pray for me, chat, because we are going into wild territory. Right. BGB. Load up the ROM. And let's switch scenes. Here we go. I think that's working. Of course, we'll have to test the audio. By the way, defense mechanism, don't you just let... Doesn't this theme bring you back? Oh, the memories of a crappy UI like this. Man, doesn't it just make your eyes bleed? We used to have... well, we actually have access to some better themes, but I never really took the chance to look into that. So, to anyone that's unfamiliar, this is LSDJ. LSDJ is a program that runs on the Game Boy natively. So it's not very useful to make Game Boy music. It's more just a piece of software that's able to directly interact with the Game Boy sound chip. And I've been working for with this piece of software for over 10 years. And when I started, crashes were a lot more frequent, you know, and we didn't have some of the small life improvements that I'm about to show you. And to most of the people that are unfamiliar with the Game Boy, this might not be such a big deal. But what you have to understand is LSDJ was a passion project. I think even a school assignment. All right, Andrew, take care. Have a good one. Thank you so much for tuning in. So I think the developer originally made this for like some school purposes or some shit. And he's still working on it, like actively developing it. And let's just demonstrate one of the very small things that he added. So let me create a new instrument. Like this. This envelope here. Defense Mechanism and I went over this. We didn't used to have this graphic. This is something very new, and it's really, really dope. I really like it. Pretty much, like, one of the interesting things about being a good designer, right, or a developer, is that you have to find these small things that you can improve on an already existing thing. And most of the people, you know, it really takes consistency or like dedication. That's the word I was looking for, because LSDJ has been used. Like, it's one of the most accessible ways of making Game Boy music, and it's being used by a lot of people. So people didn't really need these options. You know, we didn't need them per se. Although you could make the argument that the music has become a lot more interesting as the software became more stable, more powerful. But we didn't need this little graphic, right? I mean, we had ears, for fuck's sake. But it's really, really cool to see a developer not just sticking to creating something that has been around for so long, but still actively working on it. How do I add reverb and echo? Where are my VST plugins? I have no idea how to do this. I need my Vital. But yeah, it's really, really dope. And for anyone that's wanting to get into chip music, LSDJ is probably the way to go. Because, for one, it's really fun to run it natively on the Game Boy. It's really, really exciting. Alternatives would be like something like FamiTracker. But it's not, you know, FamiTracker is a different workflow. And once you get around to, or like a feel for the different buttons, it's really, really good. LSDJ Faceplant Edition. But yeah, so I think this is available either for free, like pay what you want, or it's like $1. It's really, really cheap. Now, if you want to run it on the Game Boy, what you have to do is you have to buy a cartridge, right? Like, you have to get a cartridge that has a USB or SD reader, and or USB reader, like a USB input. That's what I wanted to say. And so you can transfer this ROM man, after close to 2 hours, my mind is starting to fry. It's freely available. Awesome. Yeah, that's what I thought. It used to be like you have to donate $1 or whatnot. I actually wonder how many people have at least like either downloaded or tried LSDJ, because if you go to any chiptune website or any browse like the chiptune tag on SoundCloud, chances are that you're going to get an LSDJ track. It's by far one of the most popular pieces of software. And if you want to get some inspiration, there's no better way than checking out some of the Game Boy artists that we had during today's stream. So Gigandect, also HarleyLikesMusic, Man of Mega, .exe. All these artists do a completely different style, but they use the same platform. They all use LSDJ. So that's definitely one of the, it's a lot of fun. That's what I want to say. All right. I think what I'm gonna do is probably close LSDJ because I am getting a little tired, and we will probably end the stream in a little bit. I thought like maybe I could try and make a loop of music or whatever, but my mind is completely fried. So what I will probably do is we'll go into the stream ending screen. I'll put on some tunes, and we'll go from there. Let's see here. There we go. Fade this in. I'm happy with this. Like, I've been watching a lot of like advice videos on obviously technical stuff and how to get streams together, and really sort of thanks, Defense Mechanism. That's a good reminder. I noticed that during the last stream, I used to have like a attribution text on there, but for some reason it's disappeared. Now, let me actually try and find where it actually went, because the dude that made this, he's a pretty cool dude. His name is Tropical Trevor. And for those interested, Tropical Trevor actually did the visuals that accompanied my tech EP. So if anyone is interested to see that, what I will do is I will post the continuous mix video in chat, so you can, trip some balls. Tropical Trevor is a really, really talented shader programmer. Hey, there we go. We come back to Demoscene again. To anyone that's voice break. To anyone that's interested in learning more about Demoscene, there's a really good talk that sort of introduces. Wait, why did my audio suddenly stop? Oh, I probably used the SoundCloud window. Yeah. Whoopsie, my mistake. But yeah, there's a really, really good talk on getting new people involved in the Demoscene and sort of telling them the ropes. What's it all about? And we'll try and find that before we log off. Just have to do some multitasking. One of the biggest events in Europe, at least, is Revision. And Revision, I actually hosted a talk there on teaching people how to make music on the Game Boy. But there's also a lecture on a sort of introduction to the Demoscene and what it's all about. And I don't think it's... I can't find it just now, but for anyone interested, just shoot me an email or whatever, and I'll be sure to send it your way. So just want to quickly shout out all the people that clicked follow today. So thank you, Calm Down Kidder. Well, you were yesterday, but I had a little chat with him today. Love Calm Down Kidder. I hope he is. I don't actually know if he's still putting on shows, but Calm Down Kidder is a chiptune organizer from the UK, and he pretty much kept chiptune going during the COVID pandemic. He provided people with streams. His streams were some of the most popular chiptune shows there were. There were others, obviously. Oh man, Defense Mechanism with the donate. Let me just really quickly refresh. Wow, my PC is going apeshit. Thank you so much, Defense Mechanism, for the 8 euros. I really, really appreciate that. Just want to quickly also shout out Laurens. Thank you for the 5 euros. I really, really appreciate that. I'll be sure to get this money to the artists as well. Probably just going to do donating everything to the artist because, you know, it will be petty cash if we get that revenue split up. So thank you, Defense Mechanism and Laurens, for your generous donations. I will be sure to throw the artist a couple of bucks. Let's just hope that ominous Pigeon something has a way of actually donating to him, because last I saw, he didn't have any way to throw money at his face. So, and that's also, you know, I don't know how other people in chat feel about this, but I remember when I started making music, I had a lot of trouble actually asking for music. I was like, it's not good enough, you know. I'll get to the point where I feel comfortable asking people for money. And the realization is I just still don't feel comfortable with receiving money from music. So what I did is I made everything free, and because my intention with making music is not to make money. My intention with streaming is not to make money. It's just something that I like to do for fun. And once I did that took a load off my shoulders. Now, obviously, if I were to do something like making a release that took me months, weeks even, then obviously I would ask a fee for it. Because at the end of the day, you know, as magical as this whole music thing is, it's still a product. And though that might take some of the beauty away from it, it's just, you know, it is what it is. And I know I would like to support artists that have really inspired me with their music. But some of them don't give me any resources to actually donate to them. I actually had an artist that I'm hoping to feature in the future during one of the next radio shows. And he recently started hosting his music on Spotify, but he still refuses to take donations. So as soon as I heard that, I just spent the whole day just streaming his release, because, you know, I already love listening to his music, and knowing that he gets paid at least a little, you know, that's better than nothing. Now, you can say from Spotify whatever you want, you know, but at the end of the day, if I get a way to give money to someone, and it has to be through Spotify, then so be it. So, yeah. With that being said, I think we'll play this track out, and we end the stream. Thank you so much to anyone that's lurking, people in chat. Thank you so much for being active and involved, and I really hope some of you got some new artists recommended that you didn't know about. Like I said, if we're going to do this again, it's probably going to be in 2 weeks, because it takes a lot of time to prepare this, and I'm still doing other streams in the meantime. So yeah, hope you have a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, and thank you very much for joining in. It was a lot of fun, and I hope all you are safe out there.